I want both of you guys to weigh in on this. Fact or fiction? Is Kentucky a top 10 team in college basketball right now? Tyler.
Yes. Yes. And the reason I say that, obviously the big win against Florida, but also they have pieces. Andrew Carr kid, the inside out big. He's playing unbelievable. But Lamont Butler is a guy who's been part of winning teams, and I think he's playing better than a lot of people anticipated. He's had some big games, and if you look at the Florida game, he kind of took it over there right before half. He kind of went off a little bit. He's getting out, pressuring guards, making them turn the ball over, leading the break. And Pope has the fan base excited beyond belief.
Do they?
Yeah, they're a top 5 team. I don't know what the apprehension's about. Like, their metrics took a hit defensively after that Florida game. Of course, I think both teams' metrics took a hit after that Florida game because 106 to 100 in a conference game, 2 top 10 teams in college basketball. If you're going to win today's college game, you got to score points. Exhibit A. So, do I think they're a top 5 team? Yeah, right now I definitely do. I don't know what the apprehension's really about. And unless you want to say, well, they don't have top flight draft picks. Well, Rutgers does, and look where they're at. Like, it's not about having top draft picks at this point in college basketball, because a lot of people are getting some of these, exceptionally good basketball players in the transfer portal. They're just not quite that level, but they're smart enough to understand what they're supposed to do and when they're supposed to do it and what their roles are. I love Tyler's point about Lamont Butler. Guys, I'm just going to shoot this thing straight. Like, he couldn't throw it in the ocean last year at San Diego State. I don't know what it was. He's shooting 41% from 3 this year. If that continues, he's going to get paid more money than he was at Kentucky going over and playing wherever the hell, because he doesn't have super size. But if he shoots 42% from 3, he's got a chance because he's one of the best guard defenders in college basketball. So, have their defensive metrics taken a hit? Sure. I'm not bothered. I think their pieces fit together perfectly. Kentucky's a top 5 team in college basketball.
It's weird too, because they have 3 elite defenders in their starting lineup. I would argue that Lamont Butler is in the conversation for the best on-ball defender that we're going to find in the sport. Right there's a lot of competition for that, but he's very much in that conversation. Might be the best. Otega Oweh is a really, really good high level defender, one of the better defenders at his position. And Amari Williams is a complete difference maker at the 5, right? Like, he was CAA Defensive Player of the Year for 5 straight years, and he has not gotten bad on that end of the floor. I don't know if it's a scheme thing. I don't know if it's necessarily a weak link kind of a deal, right? Like, you kind of attack the weak link in their defense. But I'm a little surprised that they aren't better in terms of the metrics overall as a defensive unit than they have been.
They've given up 100 points to Florida. They've given up 85 in a win over Louisville. They've given up 89 to Gonzaga. Take away those 3, and there's not a game over 72 points. I'm not concerned. Kentucky's very good.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would probably have him more.
Ken Pom doesn't know what he's talking about.
Ken Pom is clueless. We got to get this guy figured out. We need Jeff Pom on here is what we need. We need Jeff Pom on here to be able
Charleston
to
Southern. It'd be a 5 seed. In all seriousness, I think when you have these anomaly games and you have multiple of them, your metrics are going to take a hit. I think that's what's happened with Kentucky, with their Florida game, Louisville and Gonzaga. Those things happen.
And yeah, just for the record, Florida is awesome.
Yeah.
They're really, really good. They have 2 of the best tough shot makers you're going to find, and they made a lot of tough shots. I'd probably have Kentucky in I think they're more of a 2 seed than a 1 seed for me. I probably would have them as the 4th best team in the SEC as of this moment, but I'm not going to argue with anybody that doesn't. Alabama, real quick. So it's a really interesting thing here. I noticed this the other day. They take 50% of their field goals from 3, right? Not a surprising thing if you're Nate Oates. They shoot 31.6% from beyond. They're not a very good 3-point shooting team, and they shoot a ton of threes. T.O., weigh in. I want your take here too, Tyler. Is that something?
They get 40% of their misses. They get 40% of their misses.
Yeah, they shot 55 threes against South Dakota State. What? I don't know. I can't decide how I feel about Alabama. I love what their ceiling is.
They got 17 offensive rebounds. Okay, so you miss a bunch of threes, you get a bunch of rebounds, still end up scoring. I wonder what, and I'm sure somebody has this metric that's smarter than me. I wonder what percentage of possessions they score on, as opposed to what their shooting percentages are.